Hey folks, how's it going? This is Mr. Murray coming to you with a Do Now video for Course 1 CP for Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. So in this Do Now, what we need to do is make a table and graph for the given function you see here. Okay, so this is just very similar to yesterday's, and in fact, this will appear on the handout that we started yesterday and which we're going to continue today. And if you don't have that, check the Google Classroom and the class Google Doc. Okay, so what we're going to do, pause the video, make a table and graph, then when you're ready, unpause, and you can see what I got. All right, so the idea is, right, we want to make ourselves a table, right, and y is the same as f of x, and then use that to make a graph. Now this, remember, is in intercepts form. Okay, so the numbers we're going to plug in are -4 and -2. Okay, and again, the reason we plug in -4 is because when we do that, right, you always plug in everywhere you see x. But what we get, right, is -4 plus 4. Well, that's 0. So we're going to be getting 0, and we're going to be multiplying by 0. And whenever that happens, you get 0. Now, similarly with -2, when we plug in -2, we'll get -2 plus 2 is 0 here. So we'd be multiplying by 0, and we get 0. So -4 and -2 are the intercepts. So because of the symmetry, we know that -3 will represent the x of the vertex, because the x of the vertex is always right in the middle of the intercepts. Okay, so now we plug it in. We get -1/2, -3 plus 4, which is 1, -3 plus 2, which is -1. So it's a -1/2 times 1 times -1, which is 1/2. Okay, there's my vertex. Now I'm going to plug in, let's plug in -1 and -5. Those will also have the same y values due to symmetry. So plug in -1. -1 plus 4 is 3. And then -1 plus 2 is 1. Okay, right? Because you'd be adding 4, you'd be adding 2. Okay, so you get -1/2 of 3, which is -1.5. Okay, if you plugged in 5, you'd get 1. -5, right? You'd get -1 and -3, which is the same thing as 1 and 3. Okay, so you get a graph that looks something like this, a little bit wider than your traditional graph. Okay, pointing down because of the down arrow indicating you always are going to have a sad face in that case. And it's a little bit wider due to the 1/2. Okay, this represents a vertical shrink. Okay, and that's because the y values are only half as big as they'd be if it wasn't there. So if this, let's say this was y2, and y2, it was just straight up x plus 4, x plus 2, okay, well these would be 0, but now here you'd get 1, here you'd get -3, here you'd get -3, so you can see that the normal version without the 1/2, okay, keep the negative in there, but the normal version without the 1/2 is twice as far from 0. Okay, so we got a vertical shrink from the 1/2. We have a reflection leading to a downwards facing. Okay, so hopefully you found this to be helpful and you were able to get this correct. Today we're going to continue on with this handout, making sure we really are getting a strong understanding of intercept form. Keep it up. Don't forget to love math, and remember, you can do it. All right, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.